to change the ownership of a document, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's go through this real quick. So changing, well, actually, it's not just changing ownership. It's going to be creating, sharing, and changing ownership of a Google document. All right, so let's go over this. So step one, you're going to be creating a new document. Step two, you're making it editable by anyone with a link. So you're pretty good on these two, but those two are required. Step three is you're going to share with an individual approved FQN Google account. Right, and then step four, you make the FQN, the approved FQN Google account, the owner of the document. Okay, so it's just four steps. Shouldn't be too hard. So are you ready for me to show you how to do it?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and come over here to my personal one over here. Oops, YouTube is not where I want to go. I want to go to Drive. So this would be my personal Google Drive. So I go ahead, I'm going to create a brand new personal Google Doc. And let's go ahead and call it, test Google document for changing ownership. So it's good to have a name for your document. All right, and I'd like to put a couple spaces for joint group editing. So boom, step one, create a new document, done. So again, you come up to your drive, you go to your drive, you click on new, Google document, spreadsheet, doesn't matter which one you do, they're all pretty much the same. But I did a doc, okay? So here's our new doc. So then step two, we're gonna make it editable by anyone with the link. So I click on the blue share button here at the top, and I click on get a shareable link, and I make it editable by anyone. Every once in a while, there's a document that is, needs to be protected, so we only allow people to view it. But 99% of all our documents are just open, editable, especially at the beginning, and then sometimes after we're completed with them, then we make them view only. Very rarely do we ever have private, information on a document. If that, usually it's because it's personal identifiable information. Okay. So here is the link, so I can copy the link anywhere. Also, it's good to know, link a link to text. So if you want to link a link to text, you highlight the text, and you push this little squiggly button in the link, and then you just push the apply, and then you can link anything to a text, and you can just click on the link anytime you want to. All right, so here's our test document linked to our notes, okay? So step 1 and 2 complete. Any questions on either step 1 or 2?
No.
Cool. So step 3, now we're going to share the document with an individual approved FQN Google account. So this is currently, so the first thing you're going to do, you're going to click on the share button, the blue share button again, and you're going to click on the advanced tab in the bottom right. And you can see here right now, this is me, it's my personal account that I'm the owner, which is against the policy, right? So the policy is very clear. The policy is that all documents must be owned by an FQN approved FQN Google account, or unless it is your main doc, right? So basically your main doc, your personal docs, you can pretty much do whatever you want with those. But for all of the official work that you're doing, it needs to be an official approved Google account. Also, everyone's supposed to have access. Policy, all FQN workers should have access to an FQN Google account. All right, so, or can make one, right? So that's another important, well, yeah, let's just keep it like that. So all FQN workers have access to an FQN Google account, or they need to ask for one. And usually we have shared Google accounts so that people have multiple of them. All right, so for step 3, what you're going to do is you're going to enter in an email address of an approved Google account. So I'm going to do FQN JsLife at Gmail. Okay, so this would be an example of one. So example approved FQN account would be FQN JsLife at gmail.com. We do have other ones, but this is the one that I use. Okay, so I click send. So then it goes ahead and sends it. Just so you know, if I come over here to, here, let's open this one. I can show you what it looks like on the back end. So once you share a document, and I go into the Drive folder, and I would click on Shared with Me. So when you click on Shared with Me, you'll see that the document right here, Test Google Document for Changing Ownership. So then it's just shared by me, shared to me, right? And this is now in the FQN JsLife at Gmail. But you can see that the owner is still me personally, right? So this is a problem, right? So here, Middle East Octant, that's an official FQN account. That's okay. But see, this one where it says Albina. So this is against policy. This one's owned by Zilu. That's against policy, right? Especially since it's Marcel's main doc. It should be owned by Marcel, if anything else. Actually, you know what? It's not really... I think, let me just update this really quick here. Unless it's not your main doc, it's your POP, your public online personnel profile, and main buddy team doc. Those are the ones that people sometimes do on their own and don't change. Cool. But main docs usually would be, so going back here, you can see that a lot of these are, so this one's okay. So this one, the main team doc, is okay, but you could still change it. Mamoon, this one is a problem. So you can see that a lot of these aren't correct, and so eventually we'll be going through and we'll making sure that every single doc is owned by the correct approved owner, okay? So after you share it, you go on to step 4. So do you have any questions about step 3?
No.
No? Okay, so now we're going to go on to step 4. So step 4 is pretty simple. Let's just start from the beginning. You would click on the share button. You click on the advanced link. And then you see here where it says FQN JsLife. You would click on this little edit button. And then you're going to make it is owner. Right? So you're changing it from me being the owner to FQN JsLife, which is an approved FQN account. So I click as owner, and then I push save changes. And it's going to come up a box that says, are you sure after you transfer ownership, you'll no longer be able to use the advanced settings. So I'm going to go ahead and push yes. And now I'm no longer the owner, and the FQN JsLife is the owner. Okay, and then you click done. And now in this document is now officially created correctly, and now it's in the actual drive. So you can see here it's actually in the drive itself instead of just shared. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Does that make sense for step 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
So you created a new doc, make it editable with the link by everyone, and you share it with the approved FQN Google account. One example is FQN JsLife.gmail, although there are many other FQN Google accounts. And then step 4 is to make an approved FQN, make the approved FQN Google account the owner of the document. So do you want to give it a try? And we can see if it works for you. You can share your screen. If you could share your screen, that would be great.
Pardon?
You can share your screen, and then you can give it a try with the 2 documents that you created.
But how do I share my screen?
So in the Hangout, you would push the share screen button. It's this little green button. and then you click the desktop or whatever you're sharing, and then it should share. So it's the little share button. It's this little green button right here.
Wow, okay.
Great, yeah, you're sharing. I can see your screen now.
Okay.
So I think you can skip step 1 and step 2 because you already created the doc. And so now you just want to go to step 3 and step 4.
I create another new document.
Well, no, let's just skip step 1 and step 2 and just use the documents you already created. So you have 2 documents you created. One of them is the Earth Systems, the Earth Session Systems doc. And then the other doc was the spreadsheet. So I want to do both of those. So first thing, yeah, you go into the Advanced tab, and then you're going to share with an official Google account. So you're going to add in FQNJ's5.
Here.
Yeah.
J5.
Yeah, just JAYSLIFE. It's also on our notes. You can just copy and paste it from the notes. FQNJ's5@gmail.com. Here, I can also copy and paste it into the Hangout here too for you. There, you see it? Do you see it in the Google chat, in the Google Hangout chat?
Give me a minute. Can you share it in Skype?
You want me to send it to you on Skype?
Yeah.
Okay. There.
Okay.
Perfect.
And?
Yeah, so then you would just click send. Yeah. Cool. So that's step 3 is completed. So now you just go to the little edit button and you would do make it owner. And you go down to is owner. And then you have to click save settings.
Save what?
Save settings down on the bottom left. Save changes. Yeah, there it is. Oh. Save changes. And then you have to click yes. Done. You did it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so do you want to give a try on this spreadsheet as well?
Okay.
Bam. So then just save the changes. And then you are pushing yes, and you're good to go. Cool. So it's pretty simple. Once you get the hang of it, it's simple, and it just helps us keep track of all of our documents, and make sure they're in the correct place. I guess I could cover that really quickly here as well. So the next topic for training on the document organizing is making sure that it's in the correct folder. So there's actually two policies, right? One is that all documents must be owned by an approved FQ and Google account, right? And that they are in the correct folder. All right. So let's use. There's going to be two examples. So if you go to your main doc. All right, so now we're going to do another training, right? So the other training is how to make sure all documents are in the correct folder. All right. So the nice thing about the ownership is if you transfer the ownership, at least you don't have to worry about actually putting it into the correct folder. Right, but we could do like a step 0 here is like, make sure you're in the correct folder. If you're in the correct folder already, once you create a new document, it actually will create the new document in the folder itself. Okay? So let me show you how to do this. So basically, if you are in your own drive, right? So you're in your own drive. The way that you do this is you actually have to go to your main doc. And so I click on here and I click on my main doc. And then in everybody's main doc, there should already be a link to a shared folder. Let's see if I can find it in my, I've got so many links. Nothing. Huh, I guess I don't have it here in my main doc. How odd. Well, it's in everybody, all the new people's main docs. Maybe you could link your main doc and we can use yours.
Okay.
In the meantime, it also should be linked to pretty much like all the main team folders and let's see. No. All right, here's your main doc. Perfect. All right, so it's this one right here. So you have the global publicly editable folder, and then you have the America's publicly editable folder. So since you're a global worker, let's go ahead and do global worker, but it would be the same thing for for the America's public editable folder, which would be New World. So you have global and then you have New World. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into my personal drive here, and I'm just going to take this link from my main doc and just link it in. And here, let me actually copy and paste this information from your main doc into mine. Make sure I have all of this awesome information in my main doc. Let's see, this is my main doc. All right, here we go. Cool. So I'm clicking on the global publicly editable folder, and then it should come up in my drive.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually see there's a lot of stuff in it right now. So people have been actually adding to it and putting the information into it, which is good. This is where we want. So this is the FQN Community Network Public Editable folder. You're going to want to drag it into your drive if you haven't already. For me, it's already in my drive. Let me try one here as well, because this one is probably not. Oh no, it is in my drive, in this drive as well. Yeah, but sometimes you can drag it and drop it into your drive just to make sure that it gets connected correctly. So when you open this publicly editable folder, when you click new and you create a new document, it will automatically create the document inside the folder so it can be backed up and saved. Okay?
Okay.
So then I would just create the document. It's going to create it in a shared folder, and you'd say create and share. So that gets the document created in the correct folder. And then the next step after this is actually transferring it into the global folder, but only approved accounts have access to the global folder where the actual accounts exist. Test document in correct folder. So it's still, so even though it's in the correct folder, all right, you still need to make it so that anyone can edit it. All right, so anyone with the link can edit it, and then, oh, here, look, when you make it in the folder, it actually already has a lot of the official accounts added into it, right, for shared. So you already have FQNJ's life in here, so I can just go make that an owner, right, and then it's saved changes, right? Yeah. So basically, you can see here, like, these are other official FQN accounts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 official FQN accounts on here. And then we also have Albina, we got Lucy, Zilu, because they're the co-chairs. And then there's me, okay, as the centaur. So that's how you create a document within the correct folder. And that ensures that we can back up the document, right? So then it's there already, and it's in the correct folders. Right there, and it's in the correct owner. So you can see a lot of these documents don't have the correct owner, like the ones that Zilu were doing. Asif Razu, Lucy, right? So that's actually a responsibility under documentations, which is to actually go through and make sure that every single document has the correct owner, and that it's in the correct folder, right? So that's actually another responsibility if you're interested in taking that on that you could help with. So we can note that as a responsibility here. So it's a responsibility is verification that all documents have correct owner and in correct folder. So the reason why that's extremely important is unless the document is in the correct folder, we can't back it up. So we only back up documents that are in either the publicly editable folder or in the private folder, right? Well, not the private folder, but it's just like in the FQN, like just like leadership folder. It's basically a shared folder, right? Within the approved account. So if it's in the approved accounts, it'll automatically get backed up if it's in either the global or the Americas folder. And then if it's in the publicly editable folder, it'll get backed up. Otherwise, we don't have a backup. Does that make sense? So if you just randomly create a document and it's just randomly in some, Google Drive, it'll never get backed up. And then we'll lose the information, right? We can't actually store it. So then the reason that we wanted to have the correct owner is that someone leaves, and they're no longer working with us, then if they deleted the doc, we would lose it forever, right? Or if they deleted their account or whatever happened, we would just lose it. So we want to make sure that all of the documents are publicly accessible and publicly accountable, and therefore they need to have a approved ownership and then be backed up and be transferable. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right, I think that's it. Do you have any questions about anything? Otherwise, I believe that we are done.
Yeah. No question. Thank you.
Okay, so at the end of our sessions, we always jump on the Skype group or online group, right? And we just mention what we did. So Buddy Team, Wahoo, and Jay is wrapping up. We did training on the Buddy Team process, as well as making sure all documents are have correct owner and in correct folder. So from there, we also created the Earth session responsibility organizing for systems and also the verification spreadsheet. Boom. That's it. So we got a lot done, which is good. And until next week, and we can do it again.
Okay.
Yes, and then also if you're going to come to either the quarter moon or the Earth session, so the quarter moon and the Earth session are all coming up in the next 24 hours, so it is a lot going on.
24 hours exactly the time?
No. Did you get the notification? No. Here, let me put it in the Cobalt one, okay?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So I believe you're UTC +3, so it would be the quarter moon's at 10 a.m. UTC +3 on Friday. And then for the Earth session, it looks like it's 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure on that, but that looks okay. But just the key is the UTC time. You can just calculate it into your own time.
Yeah. How do 11 hours.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, if you can make it, you're welcome to attend. Let us know if you can attend, and
Okay.
then we'll just go from there.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.